we have a responsibility to get the work to the streets.
MDOT presents the Extra Mile Podcast.
Highways, movement of goods, these are things that we rely on every day.
Got to have the ability to get their product to market.
As long as you're performing, we want to be behind you pushing.
Welcome into another edition of the Extra Mile Podcast presented by the Mississippi Department of Transportation. I'm MDOT Digital Media Manager Paul Catul. As always, I'm joined by my co-host Will Kraft. He handles government and constituent affairs here at the agency. And we continue to be on the road. We talked to Oxford Mayor Robin Tannehill, Starkville Mayor Lynn Spruill, and today we are in Macomb. We are here to talk to District 7 Engineer Albert White. There's a lot of good people at MDOT. I think everybody agree he's one of the best. Excited to talk to him today. Albert, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I've been listening, and it's exciting to be a part of it. My first podcast, too.
Nice. There you go. Just a little bit of information about Albert. He's been with MDOT almost 25 years, and he's been DE here in D7, District Engineer, for almost 12 years. That covers, and District 7 covers 13 counties in southwest Mississippi. So let's get to know you a little bit. So obviously you've been with MDOT for a while. Just kind of take us through your career and up to becoming District 7 Engineer.
Oh, wow. It's been an awesome journey, and one of the things I tell a lot of our folks, especially we're going through some leadership training with our AITs and are starting it with our superintendents, is just how God leads you throughout your career. And coming out of Ole Miss, I knew I wanted to be with MDOT, and probably the biggest part of that was I knew I wanted to be able to serve in a church and in our community, but also wanted to have a family and be able to spend time with my family. But I also wanted a job that you could serve others in, and MDOT's just the perfect exit place, and had several offers, so that's where we started. Started off working at the Whitfield Project office in Jackson. So, and it just seemed how God put all that together and lined it up. My sister was in Jackson, so I had a place to stay. You know, when you start out of college, you're usually broke. I think I had about $150 to my name when I started and had to live a month off of that.
Sure.
And like I said, I was blessed with my sister and her roommate were in Jackson, and they had an extra bedroom, so I was able to stay there till I could get on my feet. So it's like God puts all those pieces together. But the big part is it was a place to serve, and it was a place you could be involved in the community. It's a place you could have a family and really spend time with your family.
Absolutely. How long were you in Jackson there before you came down to McGee?
Oh, there's so many years gone by, I can't remember. I was actually at the Whitfield office for 7-8 years, and then transferred into construction division downtown. And through construction, I was able to work with, for the most of the time, with District 2 out of Batesville and stuff. So I got to meet all those folks that work for MDOT up there and get involved in projects. And even now, I see some that we started preliminary stuff on that are getting developed still, or their work building them right now. So I was able to go there for a couple years, and while I was in construction division, Brad Lewis was the construction engineer for the state at the time. He was trying to change things up, shift his staff around, and so he asked if I'd want to do District 7. And I was like, well, yeah, that's where I kind of grew up down there, so I know those places. And so I got to come down here, and with that, I got to know the people in District 7. And it wasn't too long, a year maybe, the engineer at Mendenhall got another job and left an opening. And at that time, we had just moved to McGee. Okay. Where my wife, her family was there. So Mendenhall, McGee, that's 7 miles apart. And as you know, don't say we're from Mendenhall.
That's right.
Because folks from McGee get mad about that, and vice versa. So that position came open, and so I took the job at Mendenhall and worked as a construction engineer or assistant construction engineer for a few years, as well as the resident there and at Foxworth. And man, like I said, I had a lot of chances to meet a lot of folks here, and about 13 years ago, Melinda McGrath offered me the job here as a DE, and a lot more to that story, but again, God just put in places and lined it all up, and it fell in, and I love it. I think I got the best district as far as staff goes of anybody. We may not have all the work and all the money that other districts have, but I think it's the best bunch of people to work with.
Well, then you're kind of, the next question I would ask you, you kind of alluded to your answer right there. I mean, what are some of the things that have kept you here for that long?
The people.
Yeah.
I mean, I always tell folks, especially the younger engineers and younger leaders, and I ask them, I said, what do you think is the hardest thing to deal with at MDOT? And they'll give varied answers and stuff, and I'll tell them it's probably people.
Right.
If you've dealt with staff and you've supervised folks, that's hard. But then I go back with the next question: what is the best thing that you deal with, and it's people.
Yeah.
I mean, the people here are good, and I'm not just talking about District 7. I've had the chance to work across the state and downtown, and man, MDOT's loaded with good people, and they step up. They step up for each other, and they step up to do the job. And I've seen it for 25 years. That's what keeps me here.
Well, and you're not the only one to say that, right? To Commissioner Hall, I've heard it, multiple occasions how, it cherished so much his time at MDOT because it truly felt like a family. And I know Brad has said that on many occasions in his in his time already as the executive director. Just the relationships and that work-life balance that MDOT provides.
Oh yeah, it's great, the balance of. As a DE, it got very complicated as far as doing trips and mission trips. But I've been able to go on mission trips, especially early in my career, and be involved with different ministries and stuff. And even now, as a parent, I get to go to my kids' ball games.
Right.
That's huge. It's huge for them, for us to go. So.
No doubt. So yeah, everybody always talks about how close District 7 is, and it's a great testament to your leadership for sure. You've been here a while, so can you take us through maybe some of your most memorable projects that you've worked on, accomplished during your time here?
Yeah, just two of them. One of the first ones I worked on, and it was actually in District 5. Was when we widened Lakeland Drive from the interstate to Airport Road. I was an EIT right out of school, and that's the first project I worked on. And all the engineers on it left, though, and so I ended up having to finalize it, which if you're an engineer with the department that's been in the project office, to final a job that somebody else did for the most part is difficult because you weren't there the whole time.
Yeah.
But I was able to be there probably in the middle of when it started and see a lot, and probably one of the best experience in learning. But to drive down Lakeland Drive and say, I know when we did this. We put those girders across the Pearl River Bridge, and seeing them bring cranes on the banks and one in the river and passing the steel girders back and forth. Those are things you'll always remember.
Absolutely.
And the other one is here in District 7 was the Mississippi River Bridge at Natchez when we made the pin and link repairs.
Oh yeah.
That was, I think some of y'all were here during that time. It was a repair that had never been made on that type bridge anywhere. So it was one of the first of its kind. It was the first of its kind. So being a part of that, even we got an award for it. I went to Washington at the time, the chief engineer and I went, and James Williams was the chief, and to be a part of something that special, an award for something that had never been done. So that was cool. To see that and be a part of that, and just that it's the Mississippi River Bridge.
Yeah.
One of the main passing points there is in the state, and the major river in the world. So to say you've done that is awesome. Probably the days I remember out there, one of them was when we were doing some preliminary studies before we did that job, and we were out on the bridge, and there's this young eagle flying over the river, diving, trying to catch some wood ducks that are coming down the river, floating down the river. And every time he'd dive, those wood ducks would go underwater. And he'd hover in that spot, and they'd pop up over there. And you could tell it was a young eagle because it had his size and stuff, but he was trying to learn how to hunt. But we stood there probably 30 minutes on that bridge.
Just
Watch. And those are some of the memories you get by just being out in the field and seeing it that most people won't ever have.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Kind of keeping on that, maybe not the most memorable projects, but talking about projects going on here, we'll skip around a little bit, but got a good bit going on in the district right now. Any kind of projects you want to highlight?
Well, a lot of our lottery projects are wrapping up.
Yeah, lottery stuff.
So can't wait till the next group comes around.
Right.
But most of them are finishing up that's in our area. Some of the big ones. So right now, most of what we've had is overlays. We don't have the traffic, so we don't have the huge adding additional lane type projects. But we've had that. We've had a bridge replacement in Marion County that just got completed on 198, and it was a good, unique little project. Good for our young engineers to see and to get some experience. That group of engineers down there fixing to replace the Pearl River bridges on 98 in the next couple of years. So it's a good prep job.
Absolutely.
To see that. That's going to be a huge job for us. The other job coming up in the next year and a half is here in Macomb on the interstate on I-55. Right out from where we're at is the last concrete section remaining of the original interstate.
That's right.
When it was built. So we'll rubbleize it, which means to break it up into concrete, little small stones, and pave over it with asphalt. The concrete is way past its life, and just to keep it repaired is more costly than doing the rubbleization process and paving over it. And in that project, we'll also raise some bridges as well to improve clearance and make some modifications at some of the interchanges. And that'll be a huge, probably $60, $70 million job in our area. That's for District 7. That's huge. We're really excited about it and the bridge replacement in Marion County and a few other bridge replacements coming up, and one in Simpson and Franklin County that not only are they good jobs and needed jobs, it also gives our young folks some experience with the construction process. So.
Sure. Right on. And you mentioned overlays and lottery, but I mean, especially with you kind of talking about the district, more overlays than kind of big projects. Has that lottery been a big impact for you guys?
Oh yeah, it's huge. If you ride around our district, you can see how much extra we were able to hit. The unfortunate part is the cost going up just the last 6-8 months has. I've told folks before and told y'all earlier that we all were on this high because look at all the money we're getting to do all this extra work, and then the costs go up so high, and it's like you come back to reality. Yeah. This is all we're going to be able to do. It's still more.
Sure, right.
I can't imagine what it'd be without the lottery. You might, in our 13 counties, if we didn't have the lottery, we would probably do 4 overlays a year.
Wow, yeah.
Well, with the lottery, we're probably doing an additional 7 overlays.
It's awesome.
That's even with the money like it is now. Now, if prices can go back down to somewhere reasonable, or there is additional funding, you just think how you go from 11 overlays to 15 to 20 overlays in these 13 counties. It makes a huge difference.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
So we're excited that the lottery has been great for the area. We've got a lot of things we didn't think we would be getting for 6 or 7 years, getting it paved. So we are excited, look forward to hopefully getting some additional funds or additional ways to address that because we are still behind.
Sure.
Where we want our roads to be.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that's all significant money for sure. So Albert, we know you're on a little bit of a health journey. You've been an inspiration to us all. Can you kind of take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, actually, a year ago today, November 1st, is when I found out I had cancer. And we're actually on our, I guess you'd say, our 3rd round of the journey. It's one of those things you think about, we think about it, and it's not a thing you want to hear, but through this process, God has been so good to us. And first of all, knowing that He's with us as we walk through it, but also the way He's allowed people around us to encourage us and to build up our family. That's probably one of the, when I ever get to retirement age, it's going to be the hardest thing is because so many people have been so good to us here at MDOT. And that's all I can think of. I don't want to leave those people. But not talking about retirement, so.
Yeah.
But in this journey into health, that is the biggest thing, is seeing what people in our church, in our community, even in our industry, is the construction, engineering, and especially the MDOT people have just carried us through this. And we're just hopefully to get started on treatment soon again for this third round. We always know that God's in control. I told y'all earlier, there's just learning to be satisfied where God has us is where we're at. Because again, He's always provided. He's always put people in our path to encourage us and advocate for us. And it has been a journey you don't want to go on, but it has been an awesome journey with God and with the people God has put in our path. And I always want to say thank you to the MDOT folks that statewide that have carried my family and I through this so far. And I do appreciate it. And hey, it's a good prognosis, and we're fighting it. And we're going to keep fighting it. So,
Man, and just, I think I can speak for everybody. Your faith and your resilience throughout all this, and your commitment to your folks here at MDOT, even while you're undergoing all this, is just such a testament to your character and the great man that you are. So I know, I feel pretty comfortable. I speak for everybody at MDOT, man. We thoroughly appreciate you and your kind words. I mean, we should be doling more of those appreciations on you than you the other way. So, thank you for everything you do, man, and for being Albert, taking care of the D7 down here.
I appreciate it. Now, I'll just challenge people, because I can name names right now, and I'm not, because I didn't ask permission for them. But there are a lot of folks in our MDOT family that are going through things even worse than I am, and I think that's the good thing about MDOT. You may not hear about them, but the folks around them are taking care of them that are with MDOT. But I'm thinking of people right now, and y'all just keep encouraging the folks you're around. I try to remind our leaders and our young people here, and I look at you two, both of y'all are young to me. So,
Appreciate it.
Paul and Will, y'all. But always keep people as a priority. Always faith is priority, but here when we're doing our jobs, the job will take care of itself as long as we take care of our people. So pray for your folks, serve your folks, encourage your folks, and at whatever position you're at MDOT, because I see the impact of that. And like I said, that's what we need, because the job will take care of itself if we take care of our people.
I have a sneaky suspicion that most of your folks down here are ready to run through a brick wall for you, if need be. I think you've taken care of folks,
I
no
got
doubt.
good people.
We are all on your side for sure, Albert, and we of course appreciate the kind words. Will, why don't you take us home with our
man.
favorite question?
Absolutely. We're out and about once again, as always, seems like these days. And we like to eat, Drew. We like to eat. Paul? So, Albert, we were looking, maybe you could give us a lunch suggestion. You got a favorite spot around here in the area? Maybe one even outside the area that you don't get to pop into often?
There are a lot. I like to eat, as y'all can see.
We like to eat.
So
That's why we all get along.
That's right.
my wife, just so she knows, hers is the best cooking.
Hey, there you
So
go.
I don't want to,
Smart man.
but I can't always be at home. In Natchez, we like several places. Route 61 is a favorite of mine and a lot of my staff.
Okay.
It's more of a seafood place. So you got Bogachita Boys in Bogachita between here and Brookhaven. It's a new restaurant that is a favorite of some of our folks.
Okay.
You got the dinner bell here in Macomb. Everybody usually wants to come to Macomb and eat, and it's a round table type restaurant.
nice.
And then on the other side, you got Barry's. Everybody loves Barry's seafood. If you want to eat a lot, you got it in McGee, and you of course got Zips in McGee.
There it is.
You know that one well. So, and I know our director knows about
Very
Zips.
much so, right.
So that's not the only place. There's a lot of good places. It's finding those little hole in the walls that nobody really knows other than the locals.
Yep.
That's the cool thing, is sometimes finding them, because we have a lot of those little gems around Southwest Mississippi. So
We might have to hit up
if you come down here in our 13 counties and you need to know exact place, call me. I'll even give Matt Dukas a call.
Yeah.
Matt he knows where everything is to eat and what to eat at each one. So, but let us know and we'll direct you in the right place.
Perfect.
Amazing.
We got plenty of stops. We got like 4 places we got to go for lunch.
Oh yeah. The list is becoming out of control of all the places we have to eat, but that's a good thing.
It's gonna be a very fun follow-up tour.
Yes. Albert, we really appreciate you letting us come down to District 7 and talk. You just an inspirational guy, awesome dude, doing great work down here. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you both.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you to everyone out there, all of our listeners, for tuning into the Extra Mile podcast. Remember, you can listen and watch episodes by visiting gomdot.com/the extra mile. We want to thank our editor, Drew Hall, our producer, Katie Hornsby. They do a lot of work behind the scenes to make this show happen. Remember to follow us on social media. Updates can be found at Mississippi DOT on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. You can get a lot of information there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap things up with a tagline. Remember to drive smart out there on Mississippi highways.